Peace, everyone. This is Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry, and it's that time. It's that time for another interview. So I guess she will be coming on in just a moment, I'm sure. I hope you all have had a great day so far. Your morning's going well. Bright and early this Thursday morning that we're doing this video taping. I usually don't do video tapings on Thursdays, but unique circumstance for this week. And so, hi, Trina. So I'm adding in some extra video time this week. We did, I guess, about, it's going to be a total of 3. So, yes, you all are in for a treat. Some newbies and some, hi there, Trina. Good morning. Oh, let's see. Hopefully she didn't lock up there. So yeah, some newbies, new videos, and then some old videos. Let's see, I should say not old, but prior interviewees who have been on the show. And as always, we do our check. Like you're not moving, so. We always do these tech checks, you all. Let me tell you, it's my custom to get on 30 to 45 minutes early with my girlfriends, and we test everything out. And then when it's time to actually do it, you just never know what's going to happen. And so we're going to see if all will go well for her and she can get on here. But it looks like it keeps freezing her up for right now. Yeah, so anyway, as you come in, girlfriends, let us know where you're viewing us from. Even if you're on YouTube, if you're on a replay and you're seeing it much later, you at? Like, where are you homeschooling at? What is your state? Where's your location? That would be great. I love to know those analytics and be aware of where our viewers are and where we're connecting, because I would love to be able to connect with girlfriends in every state. You know, we're so far it's on a good trend, and I'm going to get some numbers on that where I've interviewed families from, but I'm looking for families in Washington State. Haven't met anyone there. And the Dakotas, no one there. Montana, any girlfriends of the African homeschooling diaspora there? And that is, the diaspora includes and marginalized homeschoolers, includes everyone, basically with melanin in their skin. So if you're viewing in any of those areas, Montana, the Dakotas, please let me know. Let's get connected. Let's see, come on down to, I've done Nebraska, Utah. I don't think I've done anyone in Utah.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Okay.
At
you
first
can hear
we were
me?
freezing. It kept freezing up.
Okay. All right.
So I think we're good now. And I've already shared, so you can share as well.
Okay.
So yeah, girlfriends, let me know where you are. I'm going to be in California in a couple of weeks, and so I'm going to meet up with some girlfriends there. So my goal is to meet all these beautiful women. Good morning, Tammy, and all these different states where they homeschool, and I get to travel. It gives me a reason to travel. Number one. Number two, I probably would tell them about essential oils, because then that allows me to have a business write-off. I've done business in those places. So yeah, so let's connect. I'm really excited to do that. More and more of us, we're growing all over, where we're everywhere. Those who are the African homeschooling diaspora, but we're connecting. We're building this village. And so this is really, really exciting to see it come together. So yeah, let me know. All right, have you shared? Let me know whenever you have.
All right, let's see. Let me pull it.
Hopefully I'll be in Louisiana soon. I have quite a few girlfriends there. Texas galore girlfriends there. Oklahoma, I haven't met anyone in Oklahoma. Okay, Oklahoma, let's shout out. Where are you at there? Quite a few in Florida. I'm going to be making my way to Florida hopefully this summer, and Virginia, Massachusetts. May pass through Maryland. Pennsylvania is on the list. Maine, hey, Maine, shout out to Vermont. All of those up there. New Hampshire, haven't met any girlfriends there. So you all connect me with some girlfriends in those areas. So you're all set?
All right. Yes, I
All
am.
right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Girlfriends, it's Guide to Homeschooling. Well, I am turned up for today's
Yes,
interview. Oh, and I'm so grateful for this dear homeschooling mom out of Maryland, correct?
yeah,
Yeah, out of
correct.
Maryland. And she's being willing to come on the show once again and share her wisdom and nuggets and insights and everything. And so, first of all, let me just let you know what this is. This is a platform. It's called Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry, and I am that host, Angela Jordan Perry. And this is where we give voice to the African homeschooling diaspora and those who are marginalized homeschoolers. Okay, so that is a huge group. And so if you're not sure what diaspora means, please go look that up. And marginalized, that's the people who are in the margins. They're not in the majority space. So maybe they're homeschooling for, medical reasons or religious reasons or sexual orientations reasons, or maybe it's a small community. Native Americans, I've not met many Native Americans or those of the Asian descent who's homeschooling. I want to connect with you. So you all connect me with these people who are marginalized homeschoolers. So this gives voice where you can receive encouragement, insights, wisdom, where interviewees like this beautiful one here, this queen here out of Maryland, where they come and share their journey, their insights, how they homeschool, what it looks like, their reasons why for homeschooling, with the purpose of giving encouragement, some insights, and wisdom for you who are homeschooling or those who are considering homeschooling. So this is what this platform is all about. And then we carry that conversation into our podcast, which we call Girlfriends Chat. So if you're not connected to that on any platform for podcasts, we're there. So look up GG2, the number 2, GG, the number 2, H dash Angela Jordan Perry. Is that right? Yes, that's correct. And you'll find us there, and we get on the phone, actually on the phone, right, Trina? And we have this
Yeah.
conversation,
Yep.
digging deep on one specific subject that we talked about in our interview. So we have the
Yes.
Girlfriends Chat. If you're not connected with that, we're on all the platforms of social media. So be sure to get connected. And so as you come in, hit the share button, because you just never know who needs to hear this content, who needs some encouragement on their journey, who's about to throw in the towel, or someone who's considering homeschooling and just are beside themselves with worry because they don't know what to do or expect. So hit
Right.
the share button. So for me, I let you know, I am also a homeschooling mom. I have been now for 18 years, and my youngest is 7. And so we will be in this journey for a good little while, plan to do it all the way through. We've already graduated 3 children. Good morning, Heather. Good to have you. We graduated already 3 children who have made their way in life. Our youngest one, 16, just went off to college in the fall, and 5 more to go. And my husband and I, of 26 years, we are homesteaders in the northwestern part of the state of South Carolina, where we make our home, and also serve in this community here in South Carolina, where I give families legal rights to homeschool. Okay, so my reach is all over the state. My purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide, and I do that in part right here in South Carolina through Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling, and then my next platform, which is Educating Our Own. So if you haven't seen that, connect with me on YouTube, Educating Our Own, or on Facebook, our page, Educating Our Own. So the actual launch date is June 19th. And so we're going to have some kind of virtual party and celebration, and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, so stay tuned for that. So thank you very much for joining in. And as I said, we have our guest here over here in this little box. And tell you about her. So Trina, are you ready to make it happen?
Yes, I am so ready.
Yeah, good deal. So this is Trina Ferguson. Trina is a homeschool mom, author.
Yay, thank
Yeah,
you.
excellent, you all. Trina Ferguson is a homeschool mom, author, blogger, and owner of Ferguson Family Values, where living, learning, and loving happens through her HOME. Trina and her husband, Lawrence Ferguson, have three wonderful children and have partnered as youth leaders for over 10 years at their local church, New Vision Church in Bowie, I'm not sure how you say it. Bowie, Maryland. Trina has enjoyed teaching children for over 20 years, but never thought that she would be teaching her own through homeschooling. Leaving her corporate job right before her first child was born, Trina found herself on a very unexpected and even unwanted journey. Realizing that even in the unexpected journeys, there are many lessons that you can learn. Lessons such as embracing and enjoying the journey of life. As a result, in 2016, Trina published the book, Lessons Learned from My Homeschool Day. There it is right there. Learning from the good, the bad, and the icky lessons to help you through your day. To share with others who are also on an unexpected journey the lessons she has learned along the way. Trina also enjoys sharing and helping homeschool and potential homeschool families with their tips, lesson plans, and even helping children grasp certain academic lessons through creative and fun strategies. Her goal is to encourage families to have fun while following Christ through living, learning, and loving where God has them. Trina can be reached. All of her information is there. Her website is fergusonfamilyvalues.com. Her book can be purchased on amazon.com, or you can receive a signed copy if you just let her know. You can send an email to her, myfergusonfamilyvalues@gmail.com. And all that information is right there in the show notes for you. So, Trina, I have shared with the girlfriends just a little bit about yourself. If there's more to share, please do let us know. But also let us know, how did you get started on your journey to homeschooling?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share and to chat with you.
Yes.
I actually you said it in the introduction that it definitely wasn't something that I had planned on doing. Um, when I was pregnant with our first child, the job that I was at was very stressful, and I pretty much I went to my doctor because I was having contractions pretty early, and he told me that I had to make a choice. I was either going to lose my child or I was going to need to lose my job.
Mm.
And those were the options. It's like if you want to keep your child, you're going to have to find something else to do. And that's how serious it was. And I already knew that God was tugging on my heart to come home. I just ignored it because I didn't want to. But when you're faced with that kind of decision, you can't ignore it anymore. And so at that moment, I had put in my 2 weeks notice, and I left. There was no more thinking about it. I left. Um, I ended up coming home right before he was actually born. Our son was actually born. And in my mind, I just knew that in 5 years, I would go back to what I was doing. And then continue on with him going to school and then myself going back to work. And it just didn't end up that way. Prior to us having to make the decision of what school he was going to go to, we were challenged with making a chart. And the chart that we made had the pros, cons, the concerns, the questions of private school, public school, and homeschool. And it literally took us about a week to do this chart. And by the time we finished with the chart, we ended up realizing that it was clear that it was probably the best thing for our family to homeschool. And unfortunately, at the time, I was still like, nope, I don't want to do it. And a lot of times it takes more than just one thing to convince me of something I don't want to do. So I took my son to a library reading, like children's reading time, story time. And the librarian actually came up to me afterward and she asked me, have you ever considered homeschooling? I've never met this woman in my life. And I said, well, my husband and I are toying with the idea. And she said, I watched your son the entire time. And he seems like the type of child that would thrive better in a smaller setting.
Mm.
She said that she saw him paying attention, but as the children began to leave, he got up and started doing the activities that she had encouraged the kids to do earlier. And she said, I really think you should really consider it because he does seem like the type of child who would thrive in a smaller setting, and homeschooling, is definitely a smaller setting. And then she told me about co-ops as well. And so I heard that and I'm like, okay, that's the second thing that came to me, that, I should homeschool. So I said, well, Lord, I need one more thing. That's like three's a charm. So I just put it out there. I said, all right, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, this is the curriculum. I had already looked through curriculum. This is the curriculum that I need you to cover, because we were already on one income, and some curriculum is just not, it's not cheap. It's not inexpensive. And so the one that I wanted, of course, was a little pricey. And I said, provide what we need for the year. And I finished praying, and my husband calls me. He's at work. He called me and he said, hey, this lady just put up on Free Cycle. She's giving away a chalkboard and she needs it pretty much gone today. Would you like to go with me to go pick it up? I said, yeah, that's fine. So we went, and I go to the lady's house. We go downstairs and we get the chalkboard. It's a huge chalkboard that we still have to this day as a reminder for me. But the lady turns and she looks at me and she says, have you considered homeschooling?
Mm.
And I was like, we're toying with the idea. And she said, what curriculum are you thinking about using? And I told her which curriculum I wanted to use. And she said, well, I'm shutting down my Christian daycare center. And I have curriculum from preschool all the way through second grade. And I also have supplies, because she also did before and after care. And I tell you, we still, till this day, it has been 10 years now. Till this day, I still have school supplies that she blessed us with 10 years ago. So after receiving all that I needed for preschool, kindergarten, first grade, I could not say no.
Absolutely.
So I knew at that moment that I knew before, but at that moment it was like one of those, you have to make a decision. Are you going to choose what God is telling you to do? Or are you going to, go in a different route? And so a different direction. And of course I chose homeschooling. And looking back, I am so thankful. Like just literally just last week, we were on a field trip, and I turned and I looked at my husband, and we went to the African American History Museum. And we were there, and I was just floored and amazed at things that I never knew about our culture. And I was so excited that I get to spend this time with my children, teaching them more than what I learned their age. And at the same time, I was upset because I'm like, 1 month where, they focus on us for 1 month. And this museum is full of things that we never even knew. Like one of the things that we took away was that the Kentucky Derby, the very first Kentucky Derby, the majority of the jockeys were African American. And this is something that I never knew. And for my children to know and to see this, to be excited about it, to know about it at 5, 7, and 14, I turned and I looked at my husband and I said, thank you. Thank you for encouraging me to homeschool, because this is what I can do. I can teach them more than what we ever knew about who they are, where they came from, and not just what we see in some of the history books. So that's how I got to where I am, and wouldn't trade it for the world. Wouldn't trade it at all.
Beautiful. So share with us, Trina, I'm curious, what was your apprehension to considering homeschool? What was holding you back instead of just like, yes, I'm going to do it?
Okay, different. It was different than what you're used to. For me, I didn't know too many people. In fact, I only knew one family who homeschooled, and it was just different. I was used to go to work, your children go to school, and everybody will be fine. I think the other apprehension was the one income for us. It scared me, to be honest. I think the entire thing, I could make so many excuses, but the bottom line, I was scared. I was just afraid of everything being on me. And then I was afraid of messing up my children. At the time, it was just one. So I was like, I don't want to mess him up. I don't want him to not be successful because I didn't teach him the things that he needed to learn. So I think fear was really what was holding me back. I can easily say, oh, it was income, it was this, it was that. But at the end of the day, I really believe it was fear that was holding me back.
Yeah, yeah. And so girlfriends, and I've hear that so often, Trina, about, them saying this is the terminology everyone says, I'm afraid I'm going to mess them up.
Yeah.
I'm
And
going
when
to,
people say that, what I say to them now is, guess what? I'm still afraid I'm going to mess them up.
yeah.
As if sometimes you just have to do it. You just have to jump out there and do the very thing that you're afraid of doing. Just jump out there and do it because there's so many benefits that I've been able to see. And then even hearing my oldest, he was interviewed not too long ago, to even hear him say, I know this isn't easy for my mom, but she did it. Like that right there, it was just like, oh wow, cool. And just last night he was telling me that we were talking about what is success, and he said that he told me, he said, you make an impact. He said, I look at the adults at church who you had when they were little in your ministry, and I see the impact that you've made. I see the impact that you're making, and
Mm,
me and Kaylin and Lillian's life. He said, that's success to me. You're making an impact.
wow.
And to be able to hear that, he's 14, he's now doing this the side hug. But to hear that from him, it blessed my heart because sometimes we allow fear to paralyze us and we don't do the things that we know we really should jump out there and do.
Mhm.
So that's definitely my encouragement to people. Just do it, and yes, you will still be fearful from time to time. And I joke around, I tell my son, I'll pay for your therapy when you get older, but I'm still going to do this.
Yes, yes. That I had another homeschool mom say the same thing. She's like, all I'm trying to do is just help the therapy bills be a little less.
Yeah,
I know you're going to need therapy, but maybe I can help it be a little less.
a little
A
less.
little less. And this is so true. I'm homeschooling now 18 years. Now I'm going a totally opposite direction that I've always gone through traditional homeschooling. Now I'm considering I am unschooling.
Right.
And I can tell you, I'm beside myself. Number one, because all of the concerns, like, okay, are they going to get what they need? Am I putting it behind? Why am I doing this?
Right.
And you have that. And so you just got to trust the process. You got to trust
Yeah.
the process and that it is going to pan out. And you've seen the proof. The proof is there uh,
Yeah.
of homeschooling as a whole and
Right.
the unschooling. For me, you see the proof is there, and the process, the progress, and the success
Right.
from my students. So home girlfriends, don't fear, just do it, just do it.
Just do
So
it.
tell us, what was your first year like when you got started? How was it?
My first year, it was a struggle because I had to what's the word my mom used? I pretty much had to get rid of all the things that I knew about school.
D school.
And yeah, yes, exactly. I had to get rid of the schedule that I thought I was supposed to be on. I had to get rid of, I had to get rid of everything that I thought school was. And my mom continued to encourage me and to tell me, you literally have a school without walls. So operate in that. You have a school without walls. Everything that you see from day to day is a learning lesson for your son. And I went with that. So the first year was a struggle because, you have this 5-year-old, very active boy, and I have him sitting down, and you have to sit and do this and do that and do that to the point where his portfolio, literally, we were cleaning stuff out the other day, and I looked through his kindergarten and first grade portfolio, and I just said, oh, poor child, because the 3-inch binders literally were two of those in kindergarten and two of those in first grade. And so I was just like, oh man, that's why he's so kind of robotic now. But the first couple of years, it was just, yeah, like just really trying to get rid of what I thought school was supposed to be and learn and watching him and learning his learning style, what worked for him. A lot of things I was doing our first year brought about tears.
Mm.
And at some point it was like, it's not supposed to be this way. So I had to reach out. My mom's a teacher, my sister-in-law is a teacher, my sister's a teacher. So I had a lot of teachers around me and I just cried out to them. I don't know what else to do. And they pretty much were telling me that I have the benefit and the blessing of being able to teach whenever, teach whatever, and allow him to have fun and learn to love learning as opposed to learning for a grade.
Mm.
And I was always used to learning for a grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely helpful. But the first couple of years was a struggle.
Yeah, cool. That's great. Yep, deschooling is huge, 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 huge. What is your habit? Do you all have some daily habits in the Ferguson home?
Absolutely. It's not as rigorous of a schedule as I like to have it. My youngest one came and just blew up my schedule. Everything organized for the most part. But there are things we're pretty much on a list kind of thing now, a list schedule. So it's no real time frames. But the very first thing that they have to do is they have to have their own prayer time. And every day, I ask them, did you do your Bible time? Did you pray? Because it's one thing to do your Bible time and pray as a family. It's another thing when they develop that relationship on their own. And it means more to them. So I don't even care if it's hi, God, help me with my day. And that's it, but that connection between you and the Lord needs to happen first. And then school time. There's 5 things we call the daily Ferg 5. So you have your Bible, you have your school time, you have your cleaning time, you have quiet time, and then you have your fun time, your free time. It's free time. But those are the 5 things that I try to make sure that we do every day. And during your quiet time, you can read, you can build, you can, whatever it is that you do, but it's specifically for you to do something that you want to do on your own. And at the same time, giving me that time to kind of, woosah a little bit. But those are the 5 things that I try to make sure that we do every single day.
Gotcha. Take us to your worst day of homeschooling, Trina. That was so bad you almost decided, hey, I'm done with this. Yeah, he can go on to public school, preschool somewhere, but I'm done. But and you almost quit. But you didn't quit, and this is why you're this amazing homeschooling mom this far, and you wrote your book,
Yes.
Take us to that day.
It wasn't just one, it was a series of days.
Okay.
And it was middle school. My oldest, I think I prepared for I stereotype I had in my mind, okay, boys will be easy. Girls are the ones that'll give me the most problems during preteen and teen. That was not the truth.
Mm.
My son is a lot like me. We both have to have the last word. And that battle got me to a point where I'm like, I'd rather you go to public school than for us to mess up the relationship that we have for the rest of your life.
Mm.
It's just not worth it to me. And I just got to a point where I was like, I'm done. I called my husband and I was like, yeah, he's going to work with you tomorrow because I really don't even want him in the house right now. Like, that's how serious it was. It was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to have another argument with a kid over what they need to do. It's just, I'm not going to do that. It's just not worth it to me. It's not. There were many times before when he was younger, I would just drive to my husband's job, drop him off and say, I'm done. But this particular time, I want to say it was 6th and 7th grade. I think 7th grade is when we really hit the ultimate, yeah, we're not doing this in January. We're signing him up.
Mm.
So my husband that night, he came home after work and we did with our son what we did in the very beginning of our journey. And so we had huge Post-it notes and we put them all around the house and each of us had 3. And so we did the chart, pros and cons of public school, private school, homeschool, the benefits, the questions, the concerns, all of that. And we made him write, what do you think the benefits are for you? What do you think are the pros and cons for these three areas? And my husband had me do the same thing. He said, I know we did this before, but sometimes we need to be reminded of why we do what we do. And so after we finished it that night, my husband did not want us to go to bed until we finished it. So we finished it and we sat around and we talked. And before we talked, and my husband's not a big talker, so I was shocked that he wanted to do this. But before we actually had a discussion, he made Christian walk around and look at all of our sheets, all the pros, all the cons, all the concerns, all the questions. And by the time we actually sat down to have a conversation, there was an apology. There was I know why we continue to homeschool. And it was a change. It was a change for him and it was a change for me. Because for me, I think I started adopting this whole mentality of, I don't want him mad at me. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the parent. And at the end of the day, God has me in charge, over you while you're here. And I have to be a good steward. And so I even had to apologize to him for not being a good steward over him and for flying off the handle, when I probably should have remained a little calmer in certain situations. And then in other situations, a little more firm and just saying, at the end of the day, you are at the time 13 and I've been on this earth way longer than you. So just like and I told him, just like I need you to learn from me, I'm also learning from you. I've never had a teenager before, and this is my first time being a parent of a teen. So we're learning together, we're making mistakes together, but the respect level for both of us, we need to work on that. And I have to admit, this year, he's just finished up 8th grade, was the best year we've probably ever had. And that involved, like, I had some health issues recently that kind of shut me down for a little bit. And I can still say that this was the best year that we've ever had as homeschoolers.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. And I applaud you. Whew, parenting is no joke, right?
It's a joke.
I think
And
like
want to combine homeschool with
I
it.
know, right? And then I'm like, wow, we keep doing it.
Yeah.
We're like we
Right.
doing that. I know. But
Yeah.
so that's a beautiful testimony. I'm glad you had a great year this year, and his heart was changed just by that exercise. So if anything, that gives us some insights on possibly how to handle some things. That's very visual and hands on and in your face. I mean, that's really good.
Right. And it helps them as teens. It helps them to know that somebody's hearing them.
Yeah.
Someone's listening. It wasn't this is what we're going to do, so deal with it. It was, all right, let's hear it out. Even if the end result is the same, let's hear you out. And I think that also helped him to know that someone was actually listening and really cared about how he saw things.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. So take us to your best day of homeschooling. I mean, maybe this year, what you're just saying, but the most memorable time, most memorable thing that just stirs your heart to tears, and you're like, this is why I do right here, what I do. This.
Yeah.
Take us to that, Trina.
I have one for each of them, and it's pretty much the same when they first start reading.
Mm.
And for my oldest, he was the one that was challenged the most. And the day that I just sat there and literally heard him read a book, I got teary-eyed because it's like, wow, like, God, you allowed me to do that. You allowed me to teach this child how to read. With Lillian, it was the same. She struggled kindergarten. This child, she's going into 2nd grade and she's reading 4th grade books and enjoying it. And now she's teaching my youngest. Like I said, I recently was sick for a while, and to see, I came downstairs one day and to see my 7-year-old teaching at the time my 4-year-old how to read, and then my 4-year-old coming to me, Mommy, I can read the word Mac. It was like, those moments. So it's not just one, it's those moments that I get a chance to see that I'm like, I'm glad I do what I do. I'm very thankful that I can be a part of them learning to read. You learn how to read, the world is just yours, you know? And that to me was the most special moment with each of them, learning how to read. Because from that point, it's just sweeter. You know how to read the world is a lot sweeter.
Absolutely. I
So
agree with you. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, girlfriends, you are here on Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. If you're just tuning in, this is what this is. This is a platform where we're talking all things homeschool by the African homeschooling diaspora and those of the marginalized homeschooling. Today we have Trina Ferguson.
oh,
She's with us out of Maryland, homeschooling mom of 3 children, 8th grade, 4th grade, and preschool. And she's just sharing her journey and wisdom of nuggets. So now we're about to pick her brain and get some insights that you definitely want to hear and walk away from. So if you haven't hit the share button, hit that share button. It's on the bottom. Just hit it, share it, and get it out. So someone who may be considering homeschooling can hear this insights and see someone that looks like them homeschooling, or if they're already homeschooling, maybe they need some encouragement, some different, some new unique or nugget that they can say, oh, I need to do that, and just maybe revolutionize their homeschooling journey. So Trina, here we go. These are some questions, a part of the show where these are questions to pick your brain. You can give 1 or 2 sentence answers at this point. So what is your mantra or your favorite quote that you use during this homeschooling journey?
whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for men.
Do you plan to homeschool all the way through the end with your children?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What is something that's unique that you all implement in the Ferguson homeschool?
Games. We love playing games, silly games, fun games, whatever it is. I like to turn everything into a game.
You know, what curriculum or book do you have in your library right now, other than your own, that maybe you will mention your own? Yes, mention your own. But what book or library do you have in your homeschool that you feel like every homeschooling family should have?
Outside of my book, I honestly, I truly believe the Bible. We've been able to find art, science, social studies, geography, everything, the whole shebang, even health. We've been able to find that in the Bible. So I'm a believer, and that's one thing that I go by. I couldn't go without it. So that's what we use almost every day.
And what is the best piece of advice you have received during this homeschool journey?
Homeschooling it's a job. It's just like another job. You're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your bad days, but you keep at it. That for me. For some reason, that changed my perspective on things because I thought it was gonna. Well, I chose this, so it's gonna be easy. No, you're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have your bad days. You're gonna have your throw in the towel days. You're gonna have your thank the Lord. Yes, we finally got it days, but keep going.
Yes, that's huge, girlfriends. Huge, huge, huge. What is your favorite resource or tool or app or online resource that you use that helped to have a successful homeschooling?
Very good question. Um, I would probably say the same thing. The Bible app recently has been my oldest, his go-to, and he's even actually told me that I was wrong about some things with it, with respect.
Uh-huh.
Um, Using it. And so I see my girls, they use different apps as well. But yeah, the Bible app surprisingly has been like it kind of changed some things in our family. So yeah, that I would have to say that one.
A good deal. But here we are. We're on the last question, the
All
million
right.
dollar question. Are you ready, Trina?
I don't know.
Well, here's a question. If
Okay.
you had to start all over again back to day number 1 of your
Okay.
homeschooling journey, but you have your current wisdom, knowledge, skills, insights, convictions to start all over with, what would be the first thing you'd be sure to implement in your homeschooling journey? or definitely take away and not having your homeschooling journey?
More hands-on, less worksheets. Um, a lot of things that my children have learned, especially my two younger ones, um, a lot of it came from everyday life. My youngest is she just turned 5, and she's talking about saving money and having 3 envelopes when she goes to the carnival, and having one for food and one for um, games, and the other one for, I can't remember what the other one was for. But I'm like, I don't remember teaching you that. So she learned it just from a book that we read, and it was a quick book. We read it, and she knows how to manage money at 5. And I'm just like, wow, I wish I would have done this with the older one. Now with the younger two, it was by accident. It was just like, okay, mommy needs to focus on this, mommy needs to, but I'm glad it happened, because they have learned more outside of a book than they have with worksheets, not a book, but workbooks, And I really wish, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have done a lot less worksheets and more life, you know?
Gotcha. Anything you would so you would implement more hands-on and take away the worksheets. That's what you would take away?
The majority of them, not all worksheets, because I believe that it also teaches them that there's a time and place for everything. But the amount of worksheets that I did was probably overwhelming for my oldest.
Gotcha. All right, well, girlfriends, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And for this
Yes.
past hour, you've been hanging out with Trina Ferguson out
Thank
of
you.
Maryland. So listen, keep up the momentum and continue to connect with other positive resources that's going to bring a positive impact into your life. And as I always say lately, get yourself a sister circle and get connected, with those who's going to encourage you on your journey. Like Trina mentioned her sister circle. It was her mom, her sister, and her sister-in-law, right? So they were
Yes.
there to talk her off the ledge. They were there to say, hey, girl, open your eyes. This is what you need to do. They were there to pour in some things that she couldn't pull from herself. So get connected with a positive group of sister circles, meaning those who are rooting you on. You don't want to get with people who are like, girl, put them back in public school. Save yourself, get
Absolutely.
yourself some free time. No, you
Absolutely.
need some sister circles who are going to encourage you in your homeschooling journey,
Yes.
especially if that's your conviction and your desire to
Yes.
do it. So,
And
Trina,
even, I want to mention, even my publicist, a woman who's been a friend of mine since college, and she's one that pushed me to do this book.
mm,
So, definitely have a circle of people who are going to push you beyond what you think you can do.
absolutely. So, listen, Trina, I just want to say
Yeah,
to you, thank you again. I appreciate you. Girlfriends is Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. We appreciate you from taking up your time, of your energy, and sharing your wisdom, your
thank you.
knowledge, and insights with this community and reaching
Thank
thousands of homeschoolers and making an impact on them. So, thank you so much. I
you. Thank
appreciate
you.
you, and looking forward to connecting with you continually into the future. Even with educating our own. So we'll be in contact about
Yes.
that. So,
All
all
right.
right, well, girlfriends, it's your turn. Go forward and keep focused and keep moving forward. So, as
Yes.
always, you all remember that to teach a child is to touch a life. And as
Mm.
we homeschool, we not only touch a life, we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. So keep making that positive impact day after day and year after year. Just like Trina said, you might step in it with fear, but do it anyway. Just go and
Yes.
do it. Just do it. So for all of you who joined us live, thank you. Give us your hearts and your thumbs up and all of those good things. Show us some love. And those who are on the replay, make sure you comment. Let us know you've been there.
Yes.
I've been here. So comment on the replay. YouTubers, thank you for your, we reached now 400 subscribers there. So thank you for finding us. Finding me on Girlfriends Has Got Homeschooling on YouTube. Find us on Tumblr, Instagram, join the Facebook page, like and follow us there. Go ahead and get this book on Amazon.
Do.
It maybe it's backwards, but it says Lessons Learned from My Homeschool Day. You find that book and very encouraging and insights, just short little bite size. I mean, it's almost like a daily devotional. You can do a lesson a day, and
Yes.
just insights for the journey. So very useful, hands-on tool. This is Trina Ferguson and her beautiful family.
Thank you.
But that's her family. You all get the book and support this sister, this queen in Maryland. Okay. All right. So you all have a great one. Until next time, we will see you again on our next interview and with some new series that I have coming up. So you all stay tuned to Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. Bye for now. Peace, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.